Iran and India have unique opportunities to increase their mutual cooperation and to reach landmark agreements, but the role of third parties contain these chances. Will they be able to overcome these problems? Let's have a look. Foreign Minister of Iran Amirabdollahian met with Prime Minister Modi and also other high-rank officials of the India's government in a visit to Delhi. Various bilateral, regional and international issues were brought up and discussed. But still, India is not ready to get involved in a lucrative cooperation with Tehran despite good relations between the two countries. Not because of any internal obstacles, but because US is against it. There are at least 3 areas where Tehran and New Delhi could increase their cooperation based on mutual interests. Firstly, it is the Afghan issue, which has serious security importance for both countries. Iran and India have been against Taliban in their first rule and still are insisting on a need to form an inclusive government in this country. Otherwise, if the situation goes on like this, grave security threats could emerge against Tehran and New Delhi. The second very important factor is the Iranian oil. India was the biggest client for Iranian crude for many years. Then came the Trump sanctions and unilateral measures against Tehran, which forced India, like other countries, to back off. As said some days ago by the Indian Foreign Minister, US expects all countries to obey these sanctions against their own interests, just because White House wants it, which is not fair. It seems that India finally is deciding to work with countries under sanctions like Iran and Russia, not listening to the Washington as before. Creating a mechanism for trade exchanges free of US dollar and based on national currencies is a choice to think about. But Iran is also a member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and that could help ease those interactions. And the third one is the mutual project of Chabahar on the south of Iran, which was supposed to be handed over to India years ago, but New Delhi was not able to fulfill commitments, again because of the US sanctions. The other very important factor is the North-South Corridor, which has already begun its activity, transferring goods from the north of Europe and Balkan Sea through Russia and Iran to India. This is a unique chance for both countries to speed up their economic cooperation and gain huge profits of that. There is though one big yes and one big no. The fact that the new government in Tehran is shifting away from the West and focused more on increasing relations with the Eastern powers makes India a priority on their list. But at the same time, the fact that Iran and China are having very high political and economic relations could be an obstacle from India's perspective, although China, at least until now, has not tried to use its economic presence for affecting Iran's foreign or domestic policies. So India should be relieved to know that they could work on relations with Tehran, not worrying about the Chinese influence. And finally, history again. History and cultural ties between Persians and Indians have always been on a very high level. Even linguistic mutual origins and similarities are considerable. This is what Iran doesn't have to this extent with other Eastern powers like Russia or China. So everything is ready if the Modi's government really decides to move forward their relations with Tehran for their mutual interests. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe and write your opinion down in the comments. I have also made other videos on these issues. You can check them on my channel.